That's right, baby. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that introduction. For those of you who don't know me, I know exactly what you're thinking. Who invited the high school kid? But I'm actually older than I look. I'm 40 years old, believe it or not. That's not a very good age for me, personally. It's not a very good age to be at 40, because I'm too old at this stage of life to switch sports teams. And I was too young when the Mets won the World Series. So I have no recollection of my team ever winning a championship. And that's sad. It's sad. And I have kids, right? And sometimes I'll be watching the Mets play the Yankees, and my kids will come and sit down next to me, and my son will ask me the question. He goes, "Daddy, which team are you rooting for?" And I know the reason why he's asking me that question, because he wants to know whatever team I'm rooting for might be the team that he's going to root for. But it's like, what do? Do I lie? That's not good. But what's the alternative? I tell him the truth and I ruin the rest of his life. So I say, Daddy just wants to see a good game. That's what I say. Daddy just wants to see a good game. Remember that? Remember when you were a kid? You asked your dad, who are you rooting for? He goes, Daddy just wants to see a good game. You know why he did that? Because he didn't want to ruin the rest of your life. That's why. Kids, man. Kids. I don't really understand kids. I actually don't understand babies. Babies are confusing to me because you would think that when a human being enters the world, we would want to give this human being the proper sample size of what life is really going to be like. But it's nothing like the life of a baby. Human life is nothing like the life of a baby. First of all, babies poop and pee like 12 to 15 times a day. What human being on planet Earth poops and pees 12 to 15 times a day? None of them, right? And they eat all the time. They eat all the time. Normal human beings, we eat breakfast, lunch, dinner. Babies they just eat all the time, right? They don't ever eat breakfast. There's no such thing as breakfast. They don't ever break fast. They don't ever fast. They just eat. They're constantly eating all the time. And they cry throughout the night. They cry during the day. They cry and wake you up. They wake up your family. They wake up your neighbors. They get you evicted. That's a baby. That's a baby. You haven't had a baby till you got on Craigslist and started looking for a new place. And you know you got a baby. That's what a baby does to you. Woo! And I used to wonder, I said, God, why would you make a baby that way? Wouldn't you want this to be the greatest experience for a parent to hold a human being? Why is it so hard? And then I learned a very important principle, and don't you ever forget this, don't you ever forget it. It's beautiful. It's that the more you sacrifice, the more you love. The more you sacrifice, the more you love. That's right. It's a beautiful principle. And let me tell you guys, I have already sacrificed so much for my kids. So much for my kids. My kids have put me through pain, suffering, anguish. I've woken up in the middle of the night and gone to the bathroom and questioned my very existence. I have walked through my own front door, about to open the door. I'm like Barry Pepper in Saving Private Ryan quoting the book of Psalms. Do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death? Oh my gosh, they put me through so much. And I think about it. I think about the pain. I think about the anguish. I think about the suffering. And I look at them and I just love you so much. Babies, man. The more you sacrifice, the more you love. Don't you ever forget it. Beautiful, beautiful principle. And I learned a lot about my mother and her sacrifice. Learned a lot about my mom and her sacrifice. You know, my mom was a tough first generation Korean American mom. Immigrated here when she was 20 years old. She was tough. Raised 2 boys, single mother. Tough mom. Nothing we could do to ever scare her. Nothing. One time we got into a fight, we got into an argument, and I said, "Mom, I'm gonna call child services on you." And she disowned me. And her logic was that they can't take it from me if you're not my child. She was a tough lady, my mother. And she would make me read the Bible all the time. All the time, make me read the Bible. All the time. I didn't even know what I was reading sometimes. I would just have to read it. I read all these stories that I couldn't comprehend. I read about how Uncle Laban tricked Leah tricked his nephew Jacob by putting Leah into his tent rather than Rachel. I heard about all these other stories about how Tamar disguised herself as a prostitute and tricked her father-in-law. Now I'm 7 years old. I don't know the practices that these people are engaging in. I don't know what they're doing. The only thing that's on my mind as a 7-year-old is, would it hurt for you people to open your eyes once in a while? Oh snap, just give it a peek. Just a little peek, just a little peek. Oh snap, you're not Rachel. Where'd you come from? Just give it a little peek. Oh man. Rachel was really the love of Jacob's life. And I married the love of my life. My ideal woman, and I want you guys to know that I'm pretty sure that she can't say the same about me. So, first of all, she said that she would never marry a lawyer, she would never marry a pastor, she would never marry a man 2 years younger than her. And I was a lawyer, now I'm a pastor, I'm 2 years younger than her, and before I went up on stage, I said, honey, you gotta watch those kids tonight, because I gotta go up and make a complete fool out of myself. So yeah, I'm not her ideal man. Not her ideal man at all. And I'm not that patient either. I'm actually not a very patient guy. And that's weird, right? Because we should be more patient nowadays. We really should. Think about this. Like, it used to be that driving and talking on the phone were like two independent activities, right? Now we have Bluetooth technology. We've just meshed them all into one. We should be more patient, right? But now when we go online and we click on Google and we click on that icon, if it takes more than 3 seconds, we get frustrated. Oh my gosh, this stinks! Gotta get a new computer. Bill Gates gotta step up his game, right? We get upset. We get annoyed about that. And that's weird. You know why that's weird? Because I went over to my friend's house. And he has a dog. And this dog hasn't eaten all day. This dog is starving. My friend just goes upstairs. He takes his time, takes a shower, gets changed, comes back downstairs. Gets the dog food ready, puts the bowl out. The dog comes down, sits down, patiently waiting. He puts the dog food into that bowl. He takes some treats and crumbles it up, sprinkles it around the bowl, and makes it all nice and neat. And then he looks at me and goes, let me show you something. Now you may eat. And the dog starts eating. Blew my mind. Blew my mind, because, okay, you're telling me that when you get such a dog that's been starving all day, that hasn't eaten all day, to just sit there waiting patiently as the master comes home. Master comes up, takes a shower, gets ready, gets changed, comes back, puts the dog food into the bowl, makes it all nice and neat, sprinkles some treats on top, says something to his friend. We can't wait 3 seconds to watch Will Smith smack Chris Rock for the 50th time? You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me! Oh man, and back then you just had to watch whatever, right? Whatever was on TV, you just watched it. Every single time I flipped the remote, always Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4 on TV all the time. They didn't give you much options. You'd have to watch it. And as a child, I'm just like playing with my imagination, like, please just this time let the outcome be different, right? Because I saw some like maybe Rocky doesn't win this time. I don't know. All the time, every single time I turn on, yo Adrian! Every single time, yo Adrian! And the commercials, the incessant commercials all the time. Oh my gosh. After these messages, we will be right back. All the time. And the scariest thing is when I was a kid, they used to tell you this. They used to tell you that every human being is going to spend 5 years of their life watching commercials. Remember that? They used to tell you that. That scared the heck out of me as a kid. Every human being will spend 5 years of your life watching commercials. But guess what? Now we got streaming. Now we can DVR things. Someone has just given you 5 years. You have been gifted 5 years of your life. Isn't that crazy? Somebody gave you 5 years. You know what you would tell me if I told you that I'm going to give you 5 more years to your life? You'd say, oh, I could finally do all the things I ever wanted to do in my life. I could travel the world. I could see the things that I want to see. I could accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. I could succeed. I could finally make a change in this world. You know what we ended up doing with that 5 years? We ended up liking things on Facebook. That's what we ended up doing. Oh man, let's go out. Let's make a difference in the world. Oh no, I gotta say happy birthday to someone I haven't seen in 30 years. Crazy. Time is a crazy thing. So, when I was a kid, I was really into Star Wars. And as a kid, I started collecting these Star Wars figurines, right? And this is one thing I'm really proud to say is that I continued this on for my life throughout the years and years and years. And over a course of 30 years, I managed to collect Star Wars figurines, these small Star Wars figurines that are collectible items now on eBay. And what I did over the years is that I glued them all together and made a big, gigantic Star Wars showcase. And I actually posted it up on YouTube. And so this is actually what it looks like. This has now 50,000 views on YouTube. 50,000 views. So ever since I was a kid, I would just collect these. And over the years, I became very, very attached to this. Nobody was allowed to touch it. Nobody. But eventually I had kids, and my son, he was a very rambunctious young toddler. He would run around, and every single time he came near Daddy's Star Wars toys, he knew you don't mess with that. You do not mess with Daddy's Star Wars toys. And he just had, it was like a natural force field that was there. Every single time he would run around, he stopped right at Daddy's Star Wars toys, because he knew that's the one thing you don't mess with. You never mess with Daddy's Star Wars toys. I told him you can look, but do not touch. Look, but do not touch. So I took a video of it, and there's a screenshot of him. This is his face at the age of 3, and as you can see, he's just looking at it, but not touching it. The magical force field is intact, he's looking, and he's not touching. Good boy. Looking, but not touching. But then one day, he comes up to me and goes, Daddy, when I'm older, can I finally play with you with your Star Wars toys? And so I looked at him and I said, son, no! What are you, crazy? No. Get out of here with that, right? But then I learned a very, very, very beautiful principle. The more you sacrifice, the more you love. The more you sacrifice, the more you love. And of course, the greatest example of that is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So this is a few years later. I took the whole thing apart. I took a video shot of him playing with my Star Wars figurines. Because I want to share with you guys today that at the end of the day, this is my baby. And now there's a kid playing with it! Thank you, everybody.
Give it up for Pastor David Jones! Yeah.